It's Tehachapi Pod time. Maya Acosta here with Greg Garrett and Corey Costello. And today we are going to be recapping our most recent Tehachapi City Council meeting. So thanks for joining me, guys.
Yeah, thank you, Maya.
Happy to be here.
So the meeting was Monday, October 7. Mm-hmm. We host all the meetings at Tehachapi Police Department Community Room. We invite public to attend, starts at 6 o'clock. But on this particular meeting, we had several really good things. It was a nice positive meeting. We swore in a new police officer, which is always nice. We're right there at being fully staffed with Tehachapi Police. Public safety is of the utmost importance with our city and our community. So Tehachapi Police Department, Kern County Fire, and Measure S, right? It helps us pay those bills. So yeah, a good thing. We want to welcome Police Officer Ryan Holst. He comes from California City. He's been out there many, many years, and he's
Tehachapi resident.
Tehachapi resident, right, and professional, and he's joining our team. So we're really happy to welcome him.
We're getting more and more of those officers too that actually live here, maybe transferred from other agencies because they want to be where they work, which is good because then they're part of the community. They're not just here and then gone for a shift, but they're living here and you'll see them and interact with them. So that's all really good stuff on the community policing front.
Yeah, when you're commuting in and out and you're working for government or public safety, I think it matters quite a bit more actually.
Yeah.
When you're part of the community, the fabric of the community. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So welcome. And then a couple special use applications were approved, one for the American Legion Veterans Day Parade and Celebration. We want to encourage everyone to come out and honor our veterans, participate in the parade. There's going to be a celebration at Central Park, so please look that up. I know we have some information, Maya, on our website, and you can always talk to the American Legion and get hooked up on that. So that's a great thing. And then the Chamber of Commerce, the Apple Festival is coming up this weekend.
Yeah.
So I know you've had a podcast or two about that, and really welcoming a lot of people in town. So downtown, rodeo, carnival, rehash all that. But there's a lot of people doing a lot of really good things in our city and our community.
I think this is event number 60 of the 67 that happened throughout the year. I think we're getting close to the end of them for now until Christmas time.
For sure. I was talking to Claire Scotty, the chamber president, last night, and it's just ongoing. There's so many things. If you're bored in Tehachapi, something's
and
wrong.
People keep, and not only locals, but people keep coming too. You would think after Mountain Festival was a little over a month ago and all that, and you would think maybe people aren't going to come back to Tehachapi. They keep coming back every weekend, every other weekend. There was Oktoberfest in Stallion Springs last weekend, and there was a ton of people there and a lot of out of town visitors, and they'll probably be back for the Apple Festival this weekend.
I bet they do. Congratulations to Stallion Springs. It was my wife and I went out there. It was a great event.
Yeah,
it's a great event. And then the mayor presented a proclamation to Edwards Air Force Base and Space Force.
Yes.
I think 77 years.
77
Is
years
that right? Yeah.
For the Air Force, and 5 years for the Space Force.
Right. And so I know Mayor Davies is going to go out tomorrow, and present the proclamation to them in person. They weren't able to make the meeting, but nevertheless, we want to thank all of our military servants, if you will, and keeping us safe and what they do at Edwards Air Force Base. That's a big deal. It's the premier testing facility for the Air Force.
And there's several hundred millions of dollars of economic impact in Eastern Kern from that facility, and you also, on the Naval Air Weapons Station, China Lake, they have their own stuff going on there. Those are big money into communities in terms of just people work there and they live here and that sort of thing. And so there's a big influence from the Air Force. Absolutely.
That's for sure. And then we served WM, formerly Waste Management, a certificate of appreciation. WM has been just, such a great partner of ours, the cities and the communities, the donations and what they do. So we just cannot thank them enough.
Yeah, and they do a lot of stuff. I mean, a lot of the thanks last night was for their involvement in community events. I mean, you have to always have trash cans and recycling bins and porta potties and that sort of thing. And a lot of our city events, that's an in-kind sponsorship, and they trade that out for sponsorship, and that's very helpful in keeping the costs down for those events. And they do it for the Chamber of Commerce and a lot of things as well. So very cool that they're willing to do that. And then there's so much more to them just picking up trash and recycling that goes on behind the scenes with that group. And they've helped me out tremendously with everything going on in the state. It's great to have folks that they live that stuff and they understand everything that's coming down to help kind of translate it for us so we can be in compliance and not receive fines and stuff like that from the state. So it's a lot, and they have a lot of different things that they're juggling. And then they continue to support community events, which is cool as well.
That's right. So Ashley, Frank, and Brenda attended last night. Ashley is kind of the face. She's public relations and does a great job. Frank, he's helping out with the Chamber of Commerce on the car show. He was emceeing the whole day, right? And then Brenda, she's operations, and she's like boots on the ground, man. She gets it done.
Yeah.
And they're the face of WM, but all of the employees over there on Denison Road, they just really do a great job.
Yeah, and Brenda's got such a great background being, she was a former driver herself, in the trucks, and so she can still do that from time to time. So we were joking last night. She says, my guys are so productive because they know if they don't get it done, I'm going to do it. And so it's like a competition, right? Just to not make Brenda show you up and get in the truck and get it done. So it's a great group, and they've done a fantastic job over the years. And Frank does a lot of the assistance with businesses and the recycling and service levels of trash and that sort of thing. So he's met with a lot of local businesses, especially as they navigated through 1383 and AB 1826 and different things that they have to do from the state. He's been very helpful and for great things about what he's doing with our business owners. So it's a lot
for sure. Yeah. And then I recapped under city manager reports at the end. I talked a little bit about the paving that we did this summer. We're not quite done yet. We have some work still on Denison Road to do, but Arabian Estates, Cherry Lane, Brentwood, Downtown, Robinson. We've done so many, but also queued up for what's going to happen next year. So we have a plan. We've had a plan for a while, and again, Measure S is allowing us to really accelerate this maintenance of our paving, our streets and roads in the city of Tehachapi. But next year, Maya, we're going to be paving the entire north side of the track. So H, I, J, all the streets. And then the grindings will be put in the alleys, which is a great thing, right? So we'll have brand new streets, curb to curb. And then the alleys will be reconditioned also. We're going to be repaving Valley Boulevard from Mountain View going west to Tucker. So finishing off Valley Boulevard, a bit of Curry Street, some Valley east of Curry, things like that. And then Denison. So this year, again, we have two projects that we're piecing together. This year we have storm drain upgrades, utilities being moved and undergrounded, curb gutter and sidewalks, different things like that. And next year we'll be repaving Denison all the way from the boulevard going south to Georgia, which is in front of the high school, and then Denison Road over in front of WM, and then in front of the event center in Rodeo Road. So that's the plan. We still have to put things out for bid and those sorts of things, but you spend a couple $1 million this year. We're going to spend a couple $1 million next year, and we continue to produce and repave and maintain our infrastructure, which is so important to our residents.
Yeah, it's huge. Our city's going to be looking beautiful here by the end of next summer. It'll be new roads everywhere, fresh asphalt. So looking forward to
And
that.
every one of those is, and Dawn's talked about this, our public works director on the podcast several times, but every single road in the 7 square miles of the city is logged. And he knows exactly the condition of pavement. They update it every year. And then, things get bumped up the list. And then when they get repaved, they go back down to the bottom of the list. And there's also stuff that gets, conditioned so it can stay in good repair. So slurry seals and that sort of thing. And so this is all by design. Every one of these projects, it's not just like, oh, that road looks bad, let's redo that. They're all, and the same with the Denison project. I mean, there is that ATP project to add sidewalks on the east side, and then underground some utilities. But if we pave that now, they're going to cut through it. You don't want to cut through new pavement. So get that project done, widen it a bit, and then next year there'll be the repave of it. So
there's a little method to the madness, that's for sure. And we want to encourage people to, if you have questions, I say this all the time, call me, email me, text me, whatever it takes. I'll come to you, you come to me. But we want to thank the contractors and the residents for everybody being safe. Yeah. Right? This just went really smooth this summer, Maya. Yeah. Really, really smooth.
And it was 3 different contractors too. It's not like we had one contractor doing it all. So the inspector folks had to deal with 3 different work groups, and they all seemed to just do a great job.
And I know you took a lot of video, during, right before, during, and after, that kind of stuff. Maybe we can put a video together of a recap.
Yeah.
of the summer project. That'd be kind of great.
Yeah, and if people are curious right now as to kind of what that looks like, we have a couple videos on our social media already where, Greg, you're talking through the projects. We were out there on F Street and then out in Arabian Estates, kind of giving that look, that fresh asphalt and how it's already beginning to impact our community.
Yeah, for sure.
It's perfect for the Apple Festival too, though. Some brand, that new footprint this year going up Green and F and Robinson. 2 of the 3. Green was reconditioned just a couple years ago, but it's going to be new roads on the Apple Festival.
I know that it looked really nice for the car show. Really, there was somebody on social media who said, "Well, it's going to be. I'm not going to bring in my car. It'll be sticky or whatever." No. We know what we're doing.
It's real pavement. We're not just throwing down oil.
We're going to throw chewing gum down. I mean, come on, right? We know what's going on.
Yeah.
So yeah,
photos were great, and I mentioned it to the Thunder on the Mountain folks. I said, take a lot of pictures this year because the asphalt's nice and black.
There you go.
The sun hasn't got to it yet. Take a lot of great photos. This is good promotional stuff in the future. So.
Somebody sent me a photo of the sun coming up over F Street.
Oh.
Right after the pavement, and there were some leaves on the pavement. It was beautiful, stunning. I'll send it to you. Maybe you can repost it or something.
Oh, absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure. Well, let's talk economic development, Corey. What's going on in the in the world that you live in?
Yeah, so lots of things on. We're still waiting. We've got 2 of the big announcements we had recently. Obviously, Jersey Mike's, and they've been through plan check, and there was a few. I think on their end, they're just waiting to get their corrections from their architect engineer folks. I know it's a hard, those people are in high demand right now. So we're not holding anything up there. We're just waiting on the resubmittal.
Maybe you could get the owner to put a coming soon sign so people quit calling
Lesson
me.
learned. No,
I want them to call me, but I mean, certainly the sign's up, but there's nothing inside.
You know what?
So
A+ for the sign contractor. He was spot on. He wanted to get paid, so he put that thing up first. Lesson learned there. But hopefully they'll get permits here very shortly to start the tenant improvement in there in that spot there on the corner of Valley and Tucker, and then Anytime Fitness, same sort of thing, a tenant improvement. They've actually been marketing heavily. They're doing sort of sign up events out in front of the spot, and this is next to Save Mart. Where Sears Hometown Store occupied for several years, about 4,000 square feet there, a couple restrooms, showers as well. Going to be a great 24/7 access, key card stuff. I know Anytime allows you to use that membership at any of their locations. So if you travel a lot for work and live in Tehachapi and you find someplace with an Anytime Fitness, you can use your membership there as well. A lot of other cool perks they're doing right now, but excited to get them in. I think we definitely, in the city, we do not have a full service gym. And so it's good to have one. And then the others in the outlying areas, they're really busy. So there really is more demand for more health and fitness space. Obviously, we do what we can when it comes to parks and recreation and that sort of thing and getting people active. But, there's every once in a while people want to throw a weight around, and that's where the gyms come in. So it's a good opportunity to do that. So their submittal was a couple weeks back after we announced, and just waiting on their, plan check as well. Hopefully they can get permits going here quickly too. So really good life to that center. There's a few businesses that might be moving into that Tehachapi Town Center is called there where the Save Mart's at. They put a lot of money into that place a couple years ago.
They sure did.
A lot of that spurned from, the opening of when Walmart opened in 2019. A lot of the shopping centers thought, okay, we need to step our game up a bit so we can compete and still attract shoppers. And they did, and they continue to do so to attract shoppers. So it was really cool to see that. So that's really helped revitalize what is the oldest shopping center in Tehachapi. I mean, it was opened in 1990. It was a big deal. It was our first ever strip mall, quote unquote, that we had. And our first ever real stoplight that wasn't blinking at there at Tucker. So yeah, it's good to see that there's new life and new, corporate business interested in that place as well. And some of the small businesses in there are being, redone as well. New ownership coming in, taking over some places like T Donuts. So it'll be good to get them back. So yeah, there's a lot of between the big corporate folks and then small business, a lot of movement as well. I know we're going to get ready into this month. McDonald's is going to be celebrating their 30th anniversary at their location on Tucker, their original location. They obviously have the other one out there at the Love's Travel Center, but McDonald's was one of the first couple true fast food brands to come to Tehachapi. So 30-year anniversary for them is a big deal. And we've had a couple coffee with a cop events over the last couple of years, and it's amazing the technology that McDonald's is. You really almost need to have an engineer degree to work there, because it's a lot of electronics and data and computer stuff coming across, just to make a Big Mac. There's a lot that goes into it.
No doubt.
Excited for them and to have their 30th anniversary, and I probably spent in 30 years $500,000 there. I don't know.
If you spent $500,000, I've spent $1 million.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
So, but it was $1 million well spent. And I know, Corey, you're working on a lot of different projects that we can't necessarily talk about now because developers don't. It's their timeline, it's their money, but a lot of really neat things in the queue, small, medium, and large. And we continue to work on a broad spectrum of economic development, not just, corporate America, lots of, people that are moving out of their garage into, a small, sweet downtown, something like that. So we're happy to help people.
Yeah. And if you have
an idea, come talk to us.
Yeah. And we're seeing the relocation of folks as well, folks that had businesses elsewhere that relocated to Tehachapi to have their operations, whether it was a big, we've had a couple construction companies over the last few years, folks like Bowie, Knights Building Systems.
Mm-hmm.
These people built stuff for Walt Disney and the military and all over the country, built, Mammoth Mountain, that sort of thing. They've built all kinds of stuff. And then they decided, I want to live in Tehachapi and have my operation out of here. So that's very cool. And, we have those big folks, still kind of a family owned business, but also really big on the scale of what they do. And then, just a lot of small business that's now figuring out their place in the world. And we're happy to help them find locations. And that's part of what we do as well, is kind of make sure you're fitting in the right spot. We can do that analytically and help as well. So really excited about the movement we have on the small business front. And then obviously continue to work on the large corporate side, but it's tricky right now. Being an election year, a lot of retailers have scaled back. Even restaurants have kind of said, we're going to wait to see what the economy is going to do, interest rates being what they are. So there's a lot of factors out there that just, it's just a business decision for them, and they want to make sure it's going to pay off as soon as possible. So we just try to stay on the radar, and then when the time is right, they can strike. Anytime Fitness was a good example. Met them a couple years ago, and they were very interested, but it just takes some time. Jersey Mike's was the same way. Eventually, we were on their radar. Eventually, we fit their demographic, and then when they found the right franchise operator, they were able to pull the trigger. So things take a little time after the first couple initial contacts. So.
Well, in corporate America or small businesses, they want to invest in a town or a city that actually maintains their city and protects their city. And Maya, we started this with asphalt and police officers. All of that matters. If you're going to invest in a company and hire people and make a widget or sell a widget, you want to make sure that's protected. You want to make sure that the infrastructure is going to be there for you, whether it's fresh water or treated sewage or, clean gutters and those sorts of things. And that's our role. And we take it very serious. And I think we do it extremely well. The team is really well-rounded at the city of Tehachapi. There was a small fire behind Fast Strip in the strip mall there, and we were right there. Kern County Fire was there. We had several people that came out, and I know Cowboys and Angels, they've had to vacate that, and they're still around. They were at the Oktoberfest. My wife bought a couple bags from them. I know that they're going to be at the Tehachapi Winery Fall Festival this Saturday. I would encourage people to go out and continue to support Cowboys and Angels, because she's going to either remodel or find a new spot. But, she's a small business owner in Tehachapi that matters. And we want to assist our friends and families in the Tehachapi area. So don't forget about Cowboy and Angels and all the other businesses. They've opened up. Canine Creek is open for business. The medical center there is open. So even though there was a fire, people are still there. People are still working. So don't forget them.
Yeah, absolutely. And when we build that place too, that's part of I've been engaging, and we've been identified really this, and a lot of folks may have heard about the B3K initiative. It's a Better Bakersfield Boundless Kern initiative. There's sort of a specific cluster that speaks to aerospace and defense. And it's East Kern focused because that's where that industry is at. And there's so many great things happening at the Mojave Air and Spaceport as they're working on, private space flight and returnable rockets and all sorts of things. Strata Launch being one of them, the world's largest airplane.
Hydrostore, just right south of Mojave.
Exactly. So between energy and aerospace and defense. And so we've really been identified, obviously working with that group as they try to create more of a recognized cluster and getting some money from the state to help with that. But we've been kind of identified as like the role of the placemaker, because we realize if this all comes to fruition, a lot of those folks are going to choose to be in the Tehachapi area to live and then make the short commute. And because we've spent so much time developing that environment where the business can be successful. So if you're working at the base, your husband or your wife can have a small business in Tehachapi, or if you're both working at the base, you have a good place to come home to that's good for your kids. So we're working on that and making sure that we're meeting the demands as you know, there is some capacity coming to East Kern on some of those aerospace and defense initiatives.
That's right. Yeah. So I think that about wraps it up, really. You know, a brief overview of the council meeting and then some of the initiatives that we have going on. We meet with lots of different people, and, you know, we are part of the spoke of the bigger Kern County area and the Eastern Kern, and, you know, we know our role and we do it well. So appreciate everybody's input, and we're always open to have a discussion about what's going on. Whether you like something or don't, please let us know.
Yeah, absolutely. If you have any comments or questions, especially regarding things happening through our council or just day-to-day happenings, you can email us media@tehachapicityhall.com. I know, Greg, you're very open as well to discussing with people what all is happening.
If you like it, call me. If you don't like it, call Greg.
There we go.
Do it that way.
I think actually it's the other way around.
It's technically the other way around, but I took the opportunity to say it first. So maybe folks
I'll
get
just
confused.
let the girls up front know.
Just route the
that if-
call. Yeah, I tend to get those calls.
If the
once in a
guy's
while.
angry, send him
Yeah,
the cord.
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
No, we want to hear. We truly want to hear from you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, guys, thanks so much for joining us today and giving us this recap of our latest city council meeting. Appreciate your time.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, Maya.
All right, everybody listening, thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you back here next time on Tehachapod.